Chili. Danny, David.
And they go ahead and tell you what they're gonna put in the stack.
You were sitting back there, that region. And David.
Alrighty.
I move to reconvene regular session after having closed executive session with no action taken.
I'll second.
All in favor? Back in the open session. Okay, before we start the citizens talking, now let me tell you this. The ones that are on the agenda, we appreciate what you did to get on the agenda, and that's the way it needs to be done. We won't have any interruption. We won't interrupt these people while they're talking, and we won't have any comments about what they're saying. So we have no interruptions, disrupt what they're, disrupt their time right there. So we'll get started with John Hyden.
Mr. Hyde, you're going to be given 5 minutes, so just when you're ready to start, let me know. And I'm going to try to give you like a 1 minute. I'll wave at you or something, let you know you've got about a minute left.
Good. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. We've seen a lot of what I consider accomplishments lately. Citizens wishing to speak is something that we did not have in the airport authority and the IBA meetings until recently. We're hearing talk of steering committees. I've really enjoyed the Board of Commissioners discussions on airport business that we have been able to listen to recently. And I have found some open doors as I've been asking questions and trying to get information. Chairman Austin took time to talk to me. Mr. Swafford, my commissioner, Mr. Carmichael. And I appreciate those times that we've been able to sit down and have discussions. Most certainly we did not agree on every point, but I felt like we stepped away and we enjoyed the time we spent together and listened to each other. I did hear someone the other day say that he talked to a lot of people and they were in favor of commercialization of the airport. And he said that he had heard some, all probably the same number, that was opposed to commercialization of the airport, but that everybody he had talked to was mad about how the business had came about developing the commercialization of the airport. And I want to talk to you today and just talk about some things that I think that possibly you as the airport authority and the members that serve on the IBA can do to maybe undo some of the damage and help us move forward. Today's agenda, I tremendously enjoyed hearing the propeller report. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the first time I've heard a report such as that at these meetings. And I hope that we'll be hearing more. I challenge you to make information public. Envision if you were sitting on this side of the room and items of business come up. You mentioned financials today. I have no idea what the financials look like. I would encourage you to just put some bullet points out there. The airport made so many dollars this last month, or the airport lost so many dollars this last month. The film studio made so many dollars, or the film studio lost so many. Not, don't read the whole report, but put some numbers out there. I do have a concern about our neighbors and the impact. We heard a plane or helicopter landing this morning. If you have plans, if you have concerns about how we're going to protect our neighbors, say it. If you can't because of litigation, say we can't because of litigation. But let people see that you represent them, that you have a concern about our neighbors. I live in East Paulding. Airport's not going to affect me. But if I heard that we were going to put a waste incinerator in East Paulding, I'd be up there speaking against it, especially if it had been planned for a year and a half, and maybe we didn't know anything about it. One of the items, 1 minute, I'm almost done. I've watched the video of where the airport authority approved the agreement with Silver Comet. I've watched it 10, 15, 20 times. And in my mind, I still hear we're connecting the Silver Comet trail to the airport. But think when you are saying things up here, when you're entertaining business, do the citizens hear the same thing that you're saying? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I suggest, Mr. Hyde, if you don't mind, you put that in ink and get it to the airport authority, and we can definitely take all that stuff into consideration.
Thank you
so much.
I'll email it to Blake.
Thank you very much. Okay, Martina.
Assuming the same thing, I'll give you 5 minutes, and when it's about 1 minute to go, I'll try to wave at you and let you know you got about a minute left.
Okay. Okay, well, good morning. I'm here today to talk about fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers. I'm particularly concerned over commercialization and due diligence. We all know that commercialization was voted down, yet here we are. As far as I understand it, there were not any announcements for bids, and none were taken for an investment partnership in airport privatization. The contracts were not available to the public until after they were signed. Neither party has provided a prospectus for the next 5, 10, or 20 years. There are no impact statements, no feasibility studies, no due diligence reports. There aren't even financial statements from the county's specially invited privatization investment partner. Briefly touching upon my main concerns, in the bond and lease agreements, there are provisions where the county must apply for federal funds under the FAA Airport Improvement Program. In Propeller's presentation, Mr. Smith referred to FAA funds as a present. It is very likely that these federal presents must be repaid by the taxpayer if the county needs to close or sell the airport in order to rein in their losses. This remains a debt of the taxpayers. Nobody is sure what your plan is. Many are under the impression that there will be no more than 2 commercial passenger jet flights per day. Mr. Austin stated in an article up to a few dozen flights per week. Mr. Aronson of Propeller Airports stated in the AJC that Paulding was going to be a reliever airport, which by definition is at least 69 flights per day. Mr. Brett Smith of Propeller Investments envisions 26 flights per day with a discount airliner. Now, due to the fickle nature of discount airliners, which have to quickly adapt to cut their costs, service can be terminated at any time. An 8-gate terminal that stands idle, along with poor concessions, can result in losses to the county of well over $2 million a year. Now, the only commercial airline that has been mentioned so far is Allegiant, and the bulk of their fleet is about 50 MD-80 series jets, which range in age from 18 to 28 years old. Now, these aircraft are nearing the end of their lifespan. A small airport like Paulding, relying on one aging fleet, is not a wise business decision. We cannot afford a gamble like that. And serving niche markets can quickly result in bankruptcy or cessation of services. Propeller's executives have not been immune to prior niche market bankruptcies. They have EOS Airlines, Transair, EUJet, and World Airways. And I hope you're not relying on landing and parking fees to make any money for Paulding County. Commercial airlines have come to expect waivers at smaller airports, or they will go elsewhere. Hartsfield-Jackson recently announced a proposed new 5-year program where they are waiving landing and parking fees for new international routes that come to Hartsfield. They are also offering a matching promotional fund of up to $25,000. We can't afford anything like that. I ask that you withdraw the Part 139 application until we can take a very serious look at the risks involved in investing in commercial jet service. It is your duty to the taxpayer. Now on to due diligence. Due diligence serves to confirm all material facts and is the care a reasonable person should take before entering into an agreement with another party. On an international level, due diligence and transparency are a duty to combat money laundering and financial terrorism. Due to the manner in which the contracts were negotiated, we were not even given the opportunity to perform due diligence until after the privatization contracts were signed. Now, not being able to obtain any financial statements or due diligence on Propeller Investments from the county, I attempted to perform some basic due diligence myself, but apparently Propeller Investments was uncomfortable with me verifying just their addresses and their registrations of their global operation. I received a letter from their attorney last week threatening to sue me if I continued to ask questions about Propeller Investments, or as they termed it, my bad faith course of action. Now seriously, this just leaves me with more questions. Now in the US, I couldn't find any actual offices for Propeller Investments at their listed addresses, other than this lease. Now I've driven out there, I've sent people out to look. I tried to find Propeller Investments Incorporation filing in Delaware. I could not find it under that name. I couldn't find it in New York. I couldn't find it in Georgia. Under what name is Propeller Investments Incorporated? Who sits on their board of directors? I also could not find any offices or registrations in Dublin, Ireland. I asked the central bank to confirm, and they found no record of them at all in Ireland. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of questions.
You're out of time.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.